And then later on, I got a job working in the restaurant of the Ryan Hotel. That is in the basement. So that was an interesting situation. We had a dishwashing machine, and I'd run right from school down there and start peeling potatoes and onions and get all the dishes washed before supper. Because I'd get out of school about 5 minutes after 4, something like that, and by 6:30 I'd have all this done. I had my first chance for a job when I was going to school in Grand Forks. I had a chance to get a position with the railroad as a brakeman. When I went to the first thing I had to do was to go to a doctor and see that I was physically fit. So I got the appointment with the doctor, and gosh, the first, he gave me a book. He said, now while he was opening there, turning these pages, he said, what do you see? And I could see a number. Probably there was a 3 or 5 or 7, whatever it might be. And God, I thought I was getting along real good. I seen a number on every darn page. And we got next to the last page, and he said, you can't railroad. And I couldn't figure out why. He says, you're colorblind on red and green. So the next page, he said, what do you see on the next page? There's an arrow pointing in on the left-hand side, and an arrow pointing out on the right-hand side, and here was a line. I could see the line. It was an irregular line going across the page, going in at one particular place and going out on the other. He said, only a person that is colorblind on red and green could see that line. He said, I can't see it. So I took care of my railroad job. I went in one door and out the other. I attended Ockers Business College until April 7th of 1937. And I took up accounting and spelling and rapid calculation and typing. And rapid calculation isn't like playing with a computer or a calculator. I got pretty good at it, but I wasn't as good as some of the students that were there. But rapid calculation doesn't hurt anybody. 1937, after I graduated from business college, I run for county treasurer, Griggs County treasurer. I didn't last too long in that either. I lost in the primary. There's 4 of us that run. I lost in the primary because I wasn't advertised, so that they knew who I was. And the ones that were well acquainted, they got the job. Bert Nelson became the treasurer. He'd been working in a grocery store in Cooperstown while he was old enough to be my dad. So that didn't turn out to be too much, but anyhow, I had my hat in the political ring for a little while. Then I was ordered to Fort Snelling as the first lieutenant of April of 28th of 1936 for 2 weeks. And then I was ordered again to Fort Snelling as the first lieutenant in May of 20th of 1937 for 2 weeks. And I was ordered to Camp Ripley, Minnesota for 2 weeks of active duty of July 22nd of 37. Then I completed the Army Extension courses, 40-1, Infantry Regiment and Battalion Defense in combat, November 27th of 37. And then 40-2 it's the same subject, and I completed that in December 16th, 1937. 40-3, Tanks supporting the infantry units is 1230, 1937, and 20-12 combat principles tank platoons in January 6 to 1937. I met May at a dance at the Hammer Barn on the north side of Cooperstown in July 1937. She came back from Minneapolis and was living with her folks. She'd spent some time down there. But in 1938, I was ordered to Fort Snelling again for 2 weeks of active duty as a first lieutenant, June 28 of 1938. Completed courses with the Army Extension Courses. 40-1 was allotment of tanks to combat units, January 12, 1938. And 40-5 is tactics and tanks associated with arms of the infantry, January 31st, 1938, and 40-6 was command and staff and logistics of the infantry, 11/23, 1938.
Getting back to Camp Ripley, we were down there in the campsite, Fort Ripley itself, or Camp Ripley. And then there's a whole group there. They divided the whole group into two parts, and we went to a small town south and east of Camp Ripley, about 2,000 of us, something like that, and bivouacked in it must have been a big pasture or something. We were in tents anyway. I can remember one guy. We were there long enough so that he got paid, and he was from the Twin Cities and was good enough with the shaking dice so that he cleaned up everybody that was there. I didn't get into the dice game, but boy, he made money hand over fist there. He'd shake dice until the sun was shining in the morning. Anyhow, there was a brewery in I wonder if it's St. Cloud that Camp Ripley is by. Well, that's where we went anyway. And the night watchman let us in. There was 3 of us. We're driving around with a car and had made plans, that we were going to stop there and have a mug of beer. They had copper mugs. So we had a couple of mugs of beer, and then we went on back home again so that we'd be fresh for the next morning.
Lewis was baptized on September 28, 1938 at Ernest Michaelis' house. In 1939, I bought 120 acres in Rumness Township for $500 to call the old Slutton place. That would be what? $4 or $5 an acre. And it took a long time to pay for it at that rate. 30-4 was one of the courses that I completed in 39. The company in offensive combat, 11/13/39. 30-1, the solution of map problems, November 2nd, 1939, and 30-2, combat orders with the infantry, 11 November 4th, 1939, and 30-3, the company in defensive combat, November 6th, 1939.
Getting back to that, to the buying of land. John Dahl bought a quarter of land in Rumness, and Edwin Anderson bought a quarter, and I bought this 120 acres. Neither one of them had buildings on their place, but I had a house and barn. So that got to be a lot of, I thought I got quite a bit better deal than they did. But it wasn't, it isn't like buying land nowadays where you pay $600-700 an acre for it. we would, well, pay $500 for 120 acres. It'd be less than $5 an acre.